Okay, so to begin with, my name is Jeremy Bowers. I'm the Chief of Police with the City of Piedmont. With us today, we have Chief David Brannigan, who's the Piedmont Fire Chief, and we have Captain Chris Monahan, who is the Operations Commander for the Piedmont Police Department. At approximately 3:08 a.m. today, the Piedmont Police Department received an alert from an iPhone regarding a collision which provided the latitude and longitude of the location to our dispatch center. Shortly thereafter, our dispatch center received a 911 call from a member of the public reporting the incident at the intersection of Hampton Road and King Avenue. Officers arrived on scene to find a single vehicle collision fully engulfed in flames. Responding officers also observed an uninvolved party pulling one of the occupants from the vehicle upon their arrival. Our officers applied their fire extinguishers in an attempt to extinguish the flames, but the fire was too intense for the extinguishers to be effective. The Piedmont Fire Department responded and was ultimately able to extinguish the flames to the vehicle. Tragically, this collision resulted in 3 people losing their lives. 1 individual was seriously injured and taken to an area hospital. The Piedmont Police Department is actively investigating the circumstances surrounding this incident with the assistance of the California Highway Patrol due to the nature of the collision and the circumstances surrounding it. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Can you tell us more about the person who was taking out one of the occupants of the car? So was it somebody who just kind of was in the area and was helping?
Yeah, there was a motorist that was traveling behind the vehicle that was involved in the collision, significant distance behind that vehicle. And when they turned the corner, they saw the vehicle in flames, and a person exited that vehicle and helped to extract one of the involved parties out of the vehicle.
But they weren't with them?
They were not. They weren't with them in the vehicle, no.
Or not even with the party, like following them? They would just happen to be on the road?
They were leaving a function. We believe, again, it's early in the investigation, and we don't know all the facts, but it's possible they were at a function together prior.
You're talking about the occupants of the vehicle?
Correct.
And the driver that helped the people in the truck, right?
Correct.
They were all, okay, the 2 separate cars.
Correct.
That's on the same function.
That's what the investigation and the interactions and the conversations we've had so far have led us to believe to this point.
Any idea if these people were incapacitated or couldn't get out of the vehicle, or were they trapped inside of the vehicle?
We do not know.
Are you able to share the ages?
No, we are not able to share that information.
Are you not going to say where they're from or anything?
No, we're not. Just in respect to the families and the tragic nature of what has occurred this morning, we are not going to release any victim information at this point in time.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, Chief, but we're told that they're young people. Would you be able to say their college age?
Again, out of respect to the family in the difficult situation that we're dealing with today, and our difficult situation pales in comparison to the tragedy that these 3 families are dealing with today. So out of respect to them, we will not be providing any information.
Was there any indication that alcohol or drugs played a factor? Were there any open containers or anything in the car?
In incidents like this, all factors are investigated. So that is certainly an area that will be under investigation. And obviously, we're very fresh and new in this stage of the investigation. So I don't have any conclusive information along those lines.
And we also know this Cybertruck has been recalled multiple times this year. Is there any reason to believe that the truck played a role in this?
Again, we're very new into this investigation. The California Highway Patrol, us, Piedmont Fire Department. So there's no indication that there were mechanical effects that were the primary cause for the collision. All that is still very much under investigation at this point.
Lastly, I understand that speed is a factor in most collisions, if not all. Was it a factor in this one?
It's safe to say that speed was a factor. Now, are there other factors associated? That is certainly possible, but speed is likely a contributing factor in this collision.
Sorry, Chief, how are you handling this and your officers? Because obviously you're the one who has to remember that everybody here is human. So how's everybody yourself included?
You know, I really want to keep the focus on the victims and the families that have lost their loved ones. I will tell you that, you know, our women and men who responded to this call did everything they could. And it's devastating. But again, the devastation pales in comparison to what these families are dealing with this morning, the day before Thanksgiving.
Chief, we saw what was left of the truck. Can you kind of talk to us about maybe the trajectory of the car? Is that a problem area? Was it attempting to make a turn? Any of the details as to what that may have looked like?
You know, the area, frankly, isn't one of our higher collision areas in the city. My recollection as I'm standing here is it's not a acute turn in the road or anything like that. It's relatively straight, maybe a slight bend, but nothing that would be indicative of something tragic like this happening with a car going out of control that we experienced this morning.
And you touched on this, but can you talk about just the impact this is having on this community? Because I know it's a small, tight-knit community. Everybody seems to know everybody. This is right before Thanksgiving. How is the community doing?
Well, I certainly can't speak for the entire community. I think but no, being in this community for as long as I have, as a chief since 2016, I can tell you that your summary is accurate. This is a very tight-knit community. And this is a community that's going to rally around members that are affected by this tragedy. But there's no doubt this is going to be immensely impactful to this community. It already has been, and it will continue to be so.
And what function were they all at before?
We do not know exactly what function they were at. That's still under investigation.
So we don't know if it was at a party or they were somewhere else?
Again, we're investigating those aspects that may have been involved with the collision.
How long did it take for firefighters to put the fire out?
I do not know the answer to that question, but what I can tell you is this, and then I'll invite Chief Brannigan up to comment on that. We received the call from the iPhone notification at 3:08 a.m. We received the 911 call from the public at 3:10 a.m. Our first officers arrived on scene at 3:10 a.m., so 2 minutes after the iPhone notification. And the Piedmont Fire Department arrived on scene at 3:16 a.m. So Chief Brannigan, you want to come up and address the fire?
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for being here. To answer the question specifically, I actually just came from the scene. I haven't seen the actual numbers yet. By the time I arrived on scene, the fire was completely out. So it was relatively quick, more along the lines of a typical car fire.
And was the fire caused by the collision? It didn't have anything to do with the truck or anything like that? Like, was it the collision and then the fire?
When we got there, the car was already on fire, so we don't know the sequence of events, but it appears to be subsequent to the collision, yeah.
Was it a battery fire? What was the battery on fire?
Due to the quick nature of being able to suppress the fire, we don't think the main lithium batteries of the car were on fire, but that's going to be determined as part of the investigation.
So what burns then in an electric vehicle if it's not the battery?
There are lots of things. Any materials, any plastics, cloth, things like that could burn.
I'm sorry, Joe. Is there an indication there was ever an explosion?
I have not received any word of any kind of explosion, no.
As far as the person that was helping somebody get out of the vehicle, was that helpful to you all? That, you know, the person that was behind stepped in to help?
Anytime anyone gets somebody out of harm's way, that is helpful. We did assess that person also for any injuries, and they did not go to the hospital, so they were okay. But they helped that person who's now at the hospital.
And so that's pretty touching, right, when you think about somebody stepping in and...
For sure.
How does that make you feel to know the community is so tight-knit and along with that?
Well, it's good to know that somebody was willing to help. They probably saved a life. Yeah, I know, well, I know they're at the hospital. We don't have an update on their condition at this point, but they got there in good hands. Piedmont Fire paramedics transported them rapidly, so they got into definitive care quickly.
Could you tell if the car hit the wall or hit the tree? Because when we got there, it just looked like it was in between the two. Do you know?
Yeah, I'm not an expert on collisions or how that works, so that would be a question that'll come out of the investigation, I'm sure.
I wanted to get clarification about the alerts, because initially, I think we had learned that it was the Cybertruck that had something in the car that alerted police, but then you were saying iPhone, is it the same thing, or can you kind of clarify that? I'm just trying to understand that.
No, I appreciate the question. So initially, we received information that it was an in-vehicle alert. Subsequent to that, we were able to listen to some of the broadcasts and determine that it was actually an iPhone. It was actually an iPhone alert is what alerted us.
Do we know where it came from, though? Was it one of the people inside?
Correct. Correct.
Someone inside had an iPhone.
The iPhone alert originated from a phone that was from within the vehicle that was involved in the collision.
So it was not an alert from the Cybertruck?
It was not.
Alert from an iPhone?
That is correct. That is correct. And again, the point brings up a good point. Obviously, we're in the very beginning stages of this investigation. It's not uncommon for things, as more information, more conversations happen, for things to change. And so obviously we want to be responsive. Obviously, this is a tragic incident, but just understand, and the public should also understand that, things may change in terms of our ability to find out more information. And as the investigation unfolds, more information will likely come out.
Is it too early to know how fast the truck was going?
Yes. Yeah. All that type of analysis has to be done after the fact. It's quite a process, and our CHP partners will be assisting us with that.
And did you get surveillance video from the neighborhood that possibly showed the crash?
That's all part of our ongoing investigation. Yeah.
One last question about the fire and the person pulling the passenger out. Was that person injured in any way? I don't know if that's from the fire chief.
I think the fire chief answered that, but I'll ask him to come back up.
That person did not go to the hospital. But was-
Correct. The person who helped the other person get out of the car did not go to the hospital. If they had injuries, it was minor. They were assessed, but did not need to go to the hospital for treatment.
Pretty intense flames then to have pulled.
That's right.
pulled her back in.
Yeah. Yeah, when we arrived, the flames were about twice the height of the car.
So we won't be releasing any additional information today. As I said, the investigation is in its infancy, but that said, I don't foresee that additional substantial information is going to be, any additional substantial information is going to be forthcoming.
Just to clarify, on that, you did say at this point that you believe speed was a factor.
I think, yes, speed was one contributing factor in this collision, based off what we observed at the scene.
Will the coroner be the one releasing identifications?
As is typically the case, the coroner is the entity that will release information that's publicly available. So that is one avenue eventually, but that process is still ongoing. So again, we won't be having any additional statements today or information going out today, and appreciate again the cooperation at the scene, as well as your time here today. Thank you.
Thank you.